1987, here's some things that were going on. The median price of an existing home was $85,000. The average income per year was $24,000. A private first class in the Army made $9,000. The average monthly rent, $395. A gallon of gas was 89 cents. And a Honda Civic cost $6,000, and a Ford Mustang cost $9,000. All right, you guys all remember October 19th, 1987, when the stock market crashed. That was Black Friday, was that what that was, right?
Monday.
500 points.
Wasn't it Monday?
The U.S. population in 1987 was 245 million. Today it is 322 million. So we're 100 plus, almost 100 million more since 87. In 1987, Fox Broadcasting made its primetime debut on TV. The Food and Drug Administration approved the anti-AIDS drug AZT. The first criminal convicted using DNA evidence was Robert Malleus in England. 1987 was shortened by 1 second to adjust to the Gregorian calendar. Prozac made its debut in the United States. There was a scandal with televangelist Jim Baker. The Simpsons premiered on TV. Other top TV shows were Full House, Star Trek The Next Generation, Married with Children, 30-something, and Max Headroom. In the movies, Platoon, which was directed by Oliver Stone, won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Paul Newman won Best Actor for The Color of Money, and Marlee Matlin won the Best Actress for Children of a Lesser God. First deaf woman to ever win an award like that. In music, on the Billboard Hot 100, Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now by the Starship. Living on a Prayer, John Bon Jovi. La Bamba by Los Lobos. Everybody Have Fun Tonight by Wang Chung. I Want Your Sex by George Michael. Michael Jackson, Bad, Moni Moni, Billy Idol. Stand By Me, Benny King. Keep Your Hands to Yourself, the Georgia Satellites, and Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2. And of course, in the top 10 in 1987 was Touch of Grey, hitting number 9 on the Hot 100 in September of 87. And it also reached number 1 on the mainstream rock tracks chart, the only song by the band ever to do so on both charts. And here's some previous year history which we never talked about. Here's some other Grateful Dead chart toppers for you. Truckin' hit number 64 on Christmas Day in 1971. Alabama Getaway hit number 68 on July 19th, 1980. Uncle John's Band hit number 69 on September 19th, 1970. The Music Never Stopped hit number 81 on November 15th, 1975. And Sugar Mag hit number 91 in February of 73. All right, so with the Grateful Dead in 1987, they played 85 shows. 1,677 songs were played, 150 different songs. Touch of Grey was the most played at 32. Hell in a Bucket with 31, Throwing Stones with 29. 3 songs that they made rock videos for. We'll hear more about that later. Black Muddy River 26 times, Iko Iko 25 times, and Morning Dew 17 times. All right, so Phil, let's talk a little bit about some things in 87. So in January of 87, you guys started to record in the dark at the Marin Civic, and you recorded it a little bit differently than a normal studio record with in the round and live. And tell us a little bit about how you got to work and some things about that.
It was a really happy idea to have us. I think it was Bob's idea actually to have us stand in or set up everything in a circle so we were facing one another, and play and record that way. The engineers just cringed because that would mean that the amplifiers were all feeding into one another and the microphones. But I think they might have just turned the amps around to put the mics in front of them like that. So that was a simple solution. It was really fun. That was the most fun I'd ever had in a recording studio up to that time. And of course, it was actually really smooth too, and easy to do. So it was kind of like we thought we'd found a way to record. And of course, that didn't happen. The next record, we absolutely turned it completely around and just built it up from a drum track, which is disastrous. So anyway, but I think the highlight of that session was when Mickey thought that we should play some tune in the dark. I can't remember what it was.
Pitch black.
I don't remember which tune it was, and so everything. I mean, they covered up the exit signs in the Marine City. There's Parrish up there with gaffer's tape. And so we tried to play the song in the dark, and we got about 3 bars into it, and it was just totally disintegrated. Drummers couldn't see it hit the couldn't see where their cymbals were. And I don't know. I don't think it was that difficult for guitarists because you're used to, kind of sound like maybe singing and, not looking at your hands and everything. But it was very difficult. I mean, I felt very uneasy. So, but the thing about that is that's what gave us the idea for the title of the album, and of course the famous cover with everybody's eyes.
And apparently Bill Graham was mad at the Grateful Dead for something, and he came up to the session the day they were doing the photo shoot, and that's why Bill Graham's eyes are also on the cover with the band. He just happened to be at the Civic the day that Herbie Green was.
You got a problem here? Okay, now you're on the album cover, man. What else do you need?
So we're going to skip around a little bit in '87. So the record came out in July, and like I said earlier, it climbed up the charts. It hit number 9, and so that was the beginning.
Number 6.
Yep. 6.
Album
6 on the album. 6 album. 9.
Got that in
and so, talk to me a little bit
for
about
1 week.
Better than no weeks. So tell us a little bit about how that sort of changed the ratio, the bigger rooms, playing stadiums, and we'll get into a little bit of that with Dylan afterwards. But just sort of how it changed the vibe, big room to small room to big room, and
well, by that time we were playing arenas, right? But there was after In the Dark, there was this huge influx of new people wanting to hear the Grateful Dead live, and I guess. There was kind of a little conflict with the community, because these kids were, they didn't come from the right place, Come here looking for a party and free drugs and shit. Which some of that might have been a factor. But it's real. There we are, and all of a sudden we have to play larger places, stadiums, and it was really a mixed blessing. You can't sustain the intimacy, any kind of intimacy in a stadium. The stage is frequently 30 feet above the people, above the ground where the people are standing, and it's just it's like you're playing to a kind of an abstraction. You see people moving. You can't really make out the faces.
And we all know how important it is, that experience of the band and the audience connecting, as we see here all the time, and that energy that goes back and forth. And so
and it's not even so much that you can't see them. It's that the energy seems to get dissipated, or it's blocked in some way. And that was a real downside of that. Of course, it's really it gives you a godlike feeling. 80,000 people, you hit a note, and it's not good for your ego.
So they were almost forced to play stadiums, and they thought it would be a brilliant idea. They had seen what Bob Dylan and Tom Petty had done in stadiums, and so they invited their old friend Bob Dylan. And they started rehearsing up in San Rafael at Front Street. Is that where you're working?
Yeah, good old Front Street.
And so tell us a little bit about the interactions with Bob, being it's his birthday.
On the first day, we're standing around jiving a little bit before we get started. And Bob just comes up and he says, "Hey man, is it okay if we call you Zimmy?" I don't think I ever loved him more than that. Yeah, Bob was in a kind of fragile state at that point. I think he was suffering a lot of pain from his old accident, and he, I don't know. He was just, I don't know him that well, but I had some dealings with him later on, and he was much mellower, you know. But
and he liked to throw curveballs to you on stage.
Well, not to mention the curveballs. I mean, we rehearsed a whole one. I still have the handwritten list of all the songs that we did somewhere, and we rehearsed about 50, 60 tunes with him, and it seemed like an ordinary rehearsal. I mean, we went through the tunes, and you know, we said, okay, we have everybody good with that tune. We know what's going to happen, and we know when the vocals coming in, and so on and so forth. Yeah, everybody's good. And so we did the whole rehearsal thing, and then when we got out on the stage, he would change it up on us. In the middle of a song, he'd switch to another one.
One that you didn't even rehearse.
Yeah.
You can call him Zimmy.
I wanted to.
So there were 6 stadium shows with Bob, and so we're going to talk a little bit about the making of the Touch of Grey video, which goes back previous to the Dylan tour, which was in May. But I recently read that when Gary Gutierrez, the director, had his first cut of the video, he brought it to the rehearsal where they were rehearsing with Dylan, and the whole band watched it, and then somebody turned to Dylan and said, "What'd you think?" And he just nodded his head and walked away, and that was his affirmation of it. But
here's another story about Dylan in the rehearsal. We wanted to bring some cameras in and film a little blurb, you know, like, "Hey, it's Dylan and the Dead. We're coming to your town. Come on out and see us. Let's have some fun together." And Bob freaked out. "No, man, no cameras. Cameras are evil. Evil." And we're saying, "Come on, man, it's just an ad, you know." No. So we ended up not doing it. Would have been a cool idea.
And just from my perspective, Bob Dylan to this day does not let anybody photograph him anywhere at any of his concerts. So, and it's been like that. And for those of you guys that know about the 3-song rule with photographers, apparently it was Bob Dylan that started that back in the 70s. He was the first one that instituted the 3 songs for photographers, and eventually there was no songs.
Good for Bob.
Yeah.
Good for Bob.
All right, so
I gotta say, you're the most discreet of anybody.
Thank you. So in May of '87, the Grateful Dead played 2 shows down at Laguna Seca. They like to call it Laguna Seca Days, and they were day shows. And on one of the nights, I think it was the first night after the show, there was a rumor floating around that they were going to be filming a video, and there was no internet, it was all word of mouth. And so me and a bunch of my friends walked up to the gate and said, "Are they really opening the gate for some sort of a film shoot?" And the lady said, "Yeah, we're opening it right now." And we were the first ones in, and we all ran to the front of the stage. And I was with about 10 of my friends, and I had my cameras, and they were all like, "We're going to stand in the middle because we want to be in the video." And I said, "Well, I'm going to go over on this side because it's a better angle to take pictures." None of them are in the video, and I'm in the video. Yeah! I'm the guy with the mullet. You can't miss me dancing. Okay, I'm in the video dancing. So anyway, it was nighttime, and tell us a little bit about your thoughts about making an MTV video, and that night, just a little bit of skeletons and.
I mean, why? I hate music videos. I think that music took a really strange turn when music videos became so big. By adding that other sense you can't engage with the music as fully. It's just that simple. It tells you what to think about while you're listening to the music. So I hate them. Being said, it's a commercial necessity, or it seemed like it was.
Pressure from the record company, probably.
Yeah. And so, okay, so we'll do the done video, and at least I didn't have to do the whole thing. I'm going to have my skeleton stand in. Do most of the work for me.
And what about the microphones and the?
Oh yeah, I don't know whose idea it was. I think somebody decided that we'd make it like the old days when we'd go on TV and the lip sync. We never had any cords for our guitars, and there were never any microphone cables.
You can see the openings in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So for this, we didn't have any microphone cables, and there were several other things that were just saying like.
I have a photo of Phil going up to the microphone and going like this next to it.
This is not real. Yeah.
And then didn't you mess with some continuity? You guys know about continuity in films and make sure one scene cuts to the next correctly.
Yeah, so that everybody's wearing the same thing. Well, I put on my sunglasses for one shot.
They never knew.
And I think it made it into the video. I think they had no choice.
So that's basically it. I think we're going to hear some music from '87. We have one more quick little surprise for you guys. So in 1987, there was a guitar that Jerry played that was called Tiger, which he started playing in '79. And we have the original Tiger here tonight. And so this is Jerry's guitar, and the owner of the guitar, Jim Irsay, was very kind to send it out here with a gentleman over here who is, he's armed and dangerous. And so the strings that are on it, except for I believe the B string, I was told, are all the original strings from when Jerry last played it. Wow. The B string is broken, and this is Tiger, and it's here tonight for us to check out. So we're gonna go play some music. 1987. Hey.